Hello, welcome to ECE 103, Child Growth and Development. We are now in week 2. So let's start with a couple announcements. We're off to a great start. I want to remind everyone to try not to get behind. Be sure and stay on top of your due dates. Log on at least 2 to 3 times a week to keep up your attendance. Be sure to post to both discussion boards by Wednesday at midnight. Your initial discussion should be fairly in-depth, well worded. Be sure and proofread. Don't miss your quizzes because these can have a huge impact on your grade. They're due Sunday by midnight, and most of the other assignments are due at Sunday by midnight as well. So if you haven't already, consider printing off the due dates calendar, and as you complete your assignments, you can mark those off so you know what you have finished and what you have yet to accomplish. So let's start off by reviewing real quick the final project. We went over that a little bit last time, but I like to revisit it several times so that you feel very solid with what needs to be in there. So in ECE 103, you're doing a developmental flyer or handout that you could give to parents, and this flyer should be for anywhere from an infant to up to 8 years old. So you choose the year that you would like to focus on. You're also going to include the following bits of information: important things that parents should know about children this age, and you need to have at least 3 sentences on this topic or 3 bullet points. How children this age are developing, again, 3 bullet points. What children this age are learning, safety concerns, activities parents could do with children this age, signs of developmental delays, what to look out for, and then any other pertinent information you feel should be on the flyer. So each of the first 6 items need to have at least 3 sentences or 3 bullet points each. These should be easy to read, attractive, so that the parent wants to read the information and learn a little more about their child. The final project grading rubric, you need to have a creative, colorful, and visually stimulating flyer with at least 3 pieces of clip art or graphics. That's worth 40 points. Providing 5 categories of specific information for your chosen developmental age. Minimum of 3 sentences, ideas or examples in each category, that's for 50 points. And providing organized, clear work, free from punctuation, grammar, and spelling errors, 10 points. So be sure and proofread before you submit. Okay, this week we're going to look a little bit about temperament, and I find this topic really interesting because I think about children that I've known and I try to see which category they might fit into. So for this lecture, we're going to talk about fearful, flexible, or feisty. And you might figure out what category children that you've raised yourself, maybe your kiddos are in, or what category you were in as a child as well. So what is temperament? It's important to clarify this. Children are born with a natural style of interacting with people and their surroundings. 9 traits are present at birth and continue to affect development throughout the child's life. And you need to know that temperament is different from personality. So personality is a combination of your temperament and your experiences, because your experiences or life are going to affect how you are as a person. So personality is temperament and experiences. Temperament just by itself is pretty much stable throughout your life. It really doesn't change much. Be who you are. Oscar Wilde said, "A work of art is the unique result of a unique temperament." Its beauty comes from the fact that the author is what he is. It has nothing to do with the fact that other people want what they want. So I love that. I think that goes along nicely with our temperaments. and how important it is to be who you are. Our 9 temperament traits we want to look at. First of all, activity. Is the child always moving or doing something, or does he or she have a more relaxed style? So activity. Rhythmicity. Is the child regular in his or her eating and sleeping habits, or are they somewhat haphazard? Are they a child that you just can't nail down to a good sleeping schedule, or maybe a child that's hard to pinpoint on what they're really going to eat that day? Next, approach and withdrawal. Does he or she never meet a stranger? Will they go to anybody? Or do they tend to shy away from new people and new situations? We'll see both ends even within the same family. Adaptability. Can the child adjust to changes in routines or plans easily? Or does he or she resist transitions? Intensity. Does he or she react strongly to situations, either positive or negative, or does he or she react calmly and quietly? Okay, the last 4 of our temperament traits. Mood. Does the child often express a negative outlook, or is he or she generally a positive person? Does his or her mood shift frequently, or is he or she usually even-tempered? We're going to look at these different types here in just a minute. Persistence and attention span. Does the child give up as soon as a problem arises, or do they stick with it and solve the problem? Can he or she stick with an activity long enough, or do they tend to wander off and do something else instead? Distractibility. Is the child easily distracted from what he or she is doing, or can he or she shut out external distractions and stay with the current activity? These children have much stronger focus. Sensory threshold. The last thing, is he or she bothered by external stimuli such as loud noises, bright lights, food textures, food flavors, or does he or she tend to just ignore them and go with the flow? So let's look at our 3 basic temperament types. And as I said before, just kind of think about children that you know. So our first type is easy or flexible. Our second is difficult, active, or feisty. And the third is slow to warm up or fearful. So let's first look at easy or flexible. Here's this guy. Kick back, no problems in the world, whatever you want to do, that's fine. Easy or flexible. Children are generally pretty calm, pretty happy, pretty regular as far as when they go to sleep, when they wake up. Their eating habits stay pretty consistent. They're very adaptable to new situations. So these are the children that really don't put up a fuss when you're traveling. It's no big deal to them, or staying in a hotel overnight. They're fine with it. Because of their easy style, parents need to set aside special times to talk about the child's frustrations and hurts, because they won't necessarily give up that information or ask for help. This intentional communication will be necessary to strengthen your relationship and to find out what your child is thinking and feeling. So this is the quiet one. Next, I love this picture. Difficult, active, or feisty. Let's look at some of the feisty characteristics. Children are often a little fussy, and this is, from the minute they're born. Irregular in feeding and sleeping habits, fearful of new people and situations, easily upset by noise and commotion, high-strung, intense in their reactions, provide areas of vigorous play to work off some of this energy they have, allow these children to be successful, prepare these children for activity changes. So describe to them how things are going to change, if it's going to be their schedule, if it's going to be their school, talk about it. Use redirection will help children transition or move from one place to another. Okay, so that is our feisty temperament. Our last one is slow to warm, cautious, or fearful. Look at those eyes. These children are relatively inactive, pretty fussy, tend to withdraw to or react negatively to new situations. They do not like meeting new people, being held by new people. These are the ones that are probably going to stick closer to mom and dad than any other family member. Reactions gradually become more positive with continuous exposure, so they will do a little bit better with age, but we'll have to be worked through this. Stick to a routine with them, along with allowing ample time to establish relationships in new situations. And so a good example of this is if they're going to a new daycare, they need to start a little bit at a time. They need to meet their teacher one day, maybe come in the next day for a few hours, and then maybe the third or fourth day go ahead and do their whole day. So they need to be easily acclimated into new situations. As far as teaching the temperament goes, be aware of your child's temperament and respect his or her uniqueness without comparing him to others or trying to change their basic temperament, because they are who they are. They were born this way. Be aware of your own temperament and adjust your natural responses when you clash with your child's responses. So realize that maybe your child is slow to warm, but you're a little more feisty, and you'll have to work with that to balance these. Also, communicate, explain decisions and motives, listen to the child's point of view, encourage teamwork on generating solutions. So they want to be a part of this. Set limits and help your child develop self-control, especially if they're feisty. Respect opinions, but remain firm on important limits. Be a good role model, because children learn by imitation, and we know that with any temperament, that's very important. Just enjoy the dance and realize there are some things that we can guide our children in, but there are also some things such as their temperament that they're born with, and we actually need to learn to work with them instead first. I like this quote: "They are all unique. Children are just different from one another, especially in temperament. Some are shy, others bold, some active, others quiet, some confident, others less so. Respect for individual differences is, in my viewpoint, the cornerstone of good parent-child relationships." And that's Sandra Scar. All right, to our last slide, guys. If you have any questions, please contact me, email me, Facebook me, text me. I'd be glad to help out. I hope you have a great rest of your week too. Bye-bye.